Give it up for Riley Gaines, please. You know, it was just chatted for a few minutes before she came out here, and I said, "You graduated already, right?" She said, "Yeah, I did." And she made a comment about timing, about the timing of what she went through and the choice that she had to make as a top-notch collegiate athlete when faced with an obstacle, when faced with adversity, when faced with the reality of what is true versus what is not, and faced with the silence of leaders at every level. So she talked about strength, she talked about courage, she also talked about big shoulders. Whether she realizes it or not, Riley is carrying so many women and girls who came before her, who are living through these challenges today, and those who will come after her on those powerful shoulders. You inspire me, Riley. Leaders were created for such a time as this, and maybe Riley didn't realize that she would be the leader that girls and women across the people across the country need to hear from right now, and I am grateful she has chosen to step up and take on that challenge, especially given this is the 50th anniversary of Title IX. What better way than to have an example of a woman who has benefited because of Title IX stepping up on the front lines, being the tip of the spear to protect and uphold Title IX. I'm humbled and grateful to be here to join all of you this evening. Humbled to have someone like Riley present this award to me. But really, I want to take the opportunity while being here to say thank you to all of you. Thank you to IWF. I'm thrilled to be in the presence of every person here tonight in some way, shape, or form, whether directly with the IWF or in media or state legislators, superintendents of education. All of you are here tonight because each of you are in the trenches in your own way, fighting these battles, not for yourselves, but for others. And because of the work that you are doing, change is afoot. The challenges that we face are great. There's no question about it. And no one knows that more than those collegiate athletes, those high school athletes, those people serving on the boards of education, people who literally are on the front lines on a day-to-day basis dealing with the challenges that we're facing that seemed unimaginable not that long ago. You know, we heard in the opening remarks as we started this evening about how we have an administration in the White House and woke politicians in Washington, a Supreme Court justice who are unable and unwilling to define what a woman is, especially when some of them are women. How is it controversial to define what a woman is? We are in such a state of fear-mongering and cancel culture and bullying that is a nominee to the Supreme Court in front of the United States Senate could not define what a woman is. How do you think an athlete in college is supposed to feel when faced with such a question or a challenge and the potential negative consequences when they speak the truth? It is the height of hypocrisy for those who claim to be feminists, for the Democratic Party, who claims to be champions for women over decades, fighting for the rights of women, fighting for equality, fighting for that level and fair playing field across our society. It is the height of hypocrisy for these very same people to deny that there is such a thing as a woman. I met Elizabeth here tonight, Assistant Superintendent of Education, Virginia. There she is. Where is she? She's been fighting this fight for a lot of years, and I'm so happy you came up and said hello. But there's something that you told me, Elizabeth, that struck me. Elizabeth said, focus on the truth. and how important it is that we uphold the concept of truth. Because yes, as confounding and confusing as this whole question of what is a woman, the underlying foundation and challenge is that those who don't believe that there is such a thing as a woman are also denying that there is such a thing as truth. And what happens in our society when we have people in the highest positions of power who deny the existence of objective truth? What happens is then there is no such thing as truth. There is no such thing as reality. Truth becomes whatever the people in power at any given moment want it to be. We lose the foundation of reality when we cannot acknowledge that there is such a thing as truth, whether it is the truth of a biological fact of a difference between men and women, or the other truths that we're dealing with in our everyday lives. The forces against the work that all of you are doing are strong. It takes courage now to do the things that seemed obvious and simple before. The fomenting of fear, trying to bully us into compliance, trying to bully us into self-censorship, is ever present everywhere we go. You may see it in the workplace. You definitely see it on social media. You definitely see it on the mainstream media. Whether it seems like there's no more space for, hey, you know what? We can disagree without being disagreeable. Or this is my perspective, you have a different perspective. That's okay. Let's have a conversation. There's no space for freedom of speech. There's no space for independent thought. It is conform or be canceled. Not only is that mindset as un-American as it gets, you couple that with those in power who are able to use the muscle of the law and law enforcement to try to force that compliance. I just read a story the other day of an 80-year-old woman in Washington State named Julie. Her local YMCA she goes to almost every day. She was there in the bathroom, in the changing room. There were some young girls who were there, and then there was a biological male who was also there in the changing room, who was sitting there watching these young girls take off their swimsuits. She was so disturbed by this. How can this be? How can anyone allow this to happen? She went to the managers of that YMCA, told them aghast, this cannot be. You need to get rid of this person. He's posing a threat to these young, vulnerable girls in the woman's bathroom, in the locker room. And rather than doing what any one of us would do, which is go in and take that threat out of the bathroom, they kicked her out of the YMCA. We hear these stories over and over again happening in communities across the country. These similar situation with a couple of high school students who found themselves in the bathroom with a biological male sitting in the corner, literally just sitting there watching girls change. Went to the school administrators and complained. They took immediate action by counseling and punishing the girls. It's hard to wrap my head around the state of this nation today. But this is why we're here, and this is why the work that the Independent Women's Forum is so important. This is why the courage that each of you display is so critical. It takes courage to speak the truth today. It takes courage to stand strong in the face of those threats. It takes courage to not respond to their hate with hate. It takes courage to stand and understand who we are fighting for, drawing that strength from within, drawing that strength from each other, and knowing that we stand on the firm footing of the Constitution of the United States. We stand on firm footing, understanding that we are carrying out the vision that our founders had for us, that we are a free people living in a free society, able to make our own independent decisions and respecting the autonomy of each other as individuals. We stand tall and honor our mothers who came before us, and our daughters who will come after us. And know that as the arrows come flying for speaking the truth and saying there is such a thing as a woman, let those arrows fall off your coat of armor, and remember that those attacks come from a place of weakness, insecurity, and fear. This is where I draw my strength from. I've had a little experience dealing with people don't have nice things to say about me or to me. It's fine, it's a free country, say what you will. But I know what my purpose is. I love this country. Nothing is more powerful than love. And so whether you're fighting this important battle because of someone close to you in your life, it may be a daughter or a sister or a friend, and you love that person, you want to make sure that they are not hurt. Or whether you're fighting this fight because you love our country and you love freedom and you understand what's at stake. When we come from that place of love, we are reminded there is nothing more powerful. There is nothing more powerful than a love a mother has for her child. There is nothing more powerful than a love that drives a soldier to go to war and put their life on the line for this country that we hold dear. Only love can defeat hate. In Hawaii, we call this aloha. I'm grateful to share this evening and aloha with all of you, and charge every one of you to carry that aloha and that strength and courage in your heart, because we got a lot of work to do. Thank you so much for having me here tonight. Aloha.